بسم الله الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم. اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم في العالمين إنك حميد مجيد. We are going to continue inshallah our talk about Surah Luqman, and yesterday we did Surah number 15. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم وإن جاهداك على أن تشرك بي ما ليس لك به علم فلا تطعهما. And we talked about the importance of taking care of parents and to give them the attention that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commands us to give them, even in the situation when the parents are mushrikeen and even they are struggling against you. Jahadaka, they're doing jihad to that extent to try to make you a mushrik. In that situation, you don't obey them, but you still have to treat them well. صاحبهما في الدنيا معروفة. Be their sahib, be their companion in this dunya with ma'roof. And we explained ma'roof is when you do something good to someone without expecting anything in return. This is how we should be treating our parents. واتبع سبيل من أناب إليه. We talked about that. ثم إلي مرجعكم فأنبئكم بما كنتم تعملون. Some of the mufassirin say this ayah was revealed regarding Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas radiyallahu anhu. Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas is one of the 10 promised Jannah. When he accepted Islam in Mecca, his mother was very upset. And she tried to persuade him different ways to go back to his, the idol worship. And of course he said no. So she made a statement, a strange statement. She said, by Allah, I will not eat or drink until you go back to your religion, idol worship, even if I die. And if I die, the Arabs will talk bad about you and they will say, this is the man who killed his mother. I died because of you. So you want the people to talk bad about you, then just stay the way you are. So this is what happened. Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas' mother said to him, I will not eat or drink until you go back to idol worship. Wa alaykum as-salam. And this ayah was revealed regarding that, to get to a point threatening her son, if you don't leave Islam and go back to idol worship, I will kill myself, basically. I'll starve myself to death. And people will be talking bad about you, saying he's the one who killed his mother. Now here Sa'd radiallahu anh made it very clear to his mother. He said, my dear mom, and he was respectful. We said even in that situation, that is not an excuse to treat them badly. My dear mom, even if you had 99 souls and you die 99 times, I will not leave Islam. So you can stop eating or drinking or not. If you die 99 times, I will not leave Islam. And that's it. And he walked away. What did she do? She started eating right after. She understood that this is not going to work with him. She got the message. So he was not disrespectful, and he didn't yell at her, and he didn't say, no, my deen and this and that. He made it very clear. If you die 99 times, I will not leave my religion. This is how strong my faith is. So she realized there is no point in arguing with him. And she, again, that did not work. So some say this ayah talked about Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas, how his mother did that. And of course, Sa'd radiallahu anhu was not the only one. Many of the companions' parents, either a mother or a father or both of them, did everything they can. Mus'ab ibn Umayr radiallahu anhu, his mother used to hire the people, the big men, to run after him and lash him and hurt him. And they tried different methods, and of course none of them worked. So the first wasiyah, the first advice Luqman gave to his son was in aqeedah. Do not do shirk. The second one, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we said, added that, treat your parents the way they should be treated. Now 16, know who Allah is. And many of us as parents or educators, we do not teach our students this important point, who Allah is, subhanahu wa ta'ala. Some of the qualities of Allah. The names of Allah is a very important thing to teach them and explain it to them.
So here Luqman is going to teach his son, give him an important message about who Allah is. Ya bunay, again, my dear son. This is not like Ya ibni, is not my son, my dear son. Indeed, if it was a مثقال حبة من خردل, خردل mustard seed, يعني حبة من خردل mustard seed, and they used to use this example as something really small. It doesn't mean literally a mustard seed, it means something so small. If this small thing, as small as it can be, was inside a rock, صخرة, أو في السماوات, or somewhere in the sky, أو في الأرض, or somewhere on the earth, يأتي بها الله, Allah will bring it. So the Mufassirin say here, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking about your rizq. Do not worry about your rizq, whether it was hiding somewhere in Iraq, inside of Iraq, somewhere, or in the sky, which means far away from you, you can't reach it, or on the earth somewhere, wherever your rizq is, Allah will bring it to you. So this is the next message Luqman gave his son. Now, why is that important? Remember, Luqman started by being a little bit, you want to say, on the scary side, telling his son that إِنَّ الشِّرْكَ لَظُلْمٌ عَظِيمٌ. So now he wants him to love Allah. This balance is important. Not only fear is important, and love is important as well. So he's telling him, your rizq will come to you no matter what. Whether this rizq was hiding somewhere in some rock somewhere, or so far away in the sky, or somewhere on the earth, Allah will bring it to you. Of course, that doesn't mean you just sit and wait for it to come to you. You go seek your rizq, but it will get to you at the end. And we said it's an important message to know that there is no reason for us really to do something haram to get our rizq. So this is important, because at the end of the day, you will get your rizq. Using the haram way will not change it. And we said this, if the thief knew that what he stole will be his anyway, he wouldn't have stolen it. Right? If I know this is going to come to you anyway, why would you steal it? It will come to you the halal way, if you just wait a little bit. So this is the message here. Luqman wants his son to keep his trust in Allah. Your rizq will come to you. And we hear stories about things that you can never imagine how the rizq comes to you. I'll give you a few examples maybe. One time, and this happens a long time ago, my sister, she went with her friends, all girls of course. Somebody invited them to dinner. And her friend was Pakistani, so the food was very spicy. So my sister could not eat. They gave her to-go box. She took the to-go box and she went back home and she put it on the dinner table. She could not eat it. I was sleeping. She came back late. And then I woke up in the middle of the night. I felt hungry. I went downstairs. I found the box and I ate it. How your rizq comes to you? My sister went to her friend, and I don't know her friend even, and she brought me a box without her intention, and I ate it. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala decided that this is my rizq. It's going to come to me, regardless. There are so many examples. One time, it's funny, before I settled in the United States, I used to come visit and go back to Syria, back and forth. So I used to buy some candy, what do you call it, Lifesaver, those hard candies. So one time I bought some candy and I went back to Syria. And then I saw one kid, he was playing in the street. He said, do you have some candy? So I gave it to him. And then I was thinking, this kid might never come to the United States. Maybe all of his life will not come to the United States. But Allah decided that one candy, I will deliver it to him from the United States. So he gets his rizq. There's these stories, you hear unbelievable stories about how people's rizq get to them and they are not prepared. They're not paying attention. How did this happen? So this is what Luqman is telling his son. My dear son, if it was something so small, like a mustard seed, hiding in some rock or in the air or on the ground, anywhere it could be, Allah will bring it to you. يأتي بها الله. Inna Allah, so know who Allah is. Latif, he knows the smallest of things. Khabir, he knows the greatest of things. And that's why Latif and Khabir normally are paired together, the names of Allah. Latif, he knows the smallest of things, and Khabir, he knows the big things, the great things. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Latif and Khabir. This is ayah number 16. So here, if we see the order Luqman is using to give advices to his son. First, don't do shirk. And again, he is kind of scaring his son. This is a big dhulm, big injustice. But when you worship Allah alone, you should know that Allah will get you your rizq wherever you can be and wherever your rizq can be. It will get to you. Nobody is going to take somebody else's rizq. And we normally say that we said that the last Ramadan, normally we say it, after Maghrib, people rush to the community hall to get their iftar. And some of them don't pray sunnah. And we said, your rizq is reserved. Every single rice has the name of its owner on it. You're not going to take somebody else's food. So don't rush. One time, actually, they all rushed and the food was late. The food got there late. So those who went there after, they got the food first. So yani, it's at the end of the day, your rizq will get to you and you don't have to worry, because every human being is worried about their rizq. That's one thing, that everybody is worried about their rizq. So after Luqman told his son, worship Allah alone, he told him the fruit of that, the outcome of that. You worship Allah alone, he will get you your rizq to your doorstep. Of course, again, you do your part without disobeying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Any question about ayah number 16?
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi
Wa
wabarakatuh.
alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
I'm just asking about the risk. What includes the risk? It's not only a food, right?
Rizq is the definition of rizq, anything that is beneficial to you.
Mm-hmm.
It can be money, it can be food, it can be time, it can be health, it
Mm-hmm.
can be friendship. That's all rizq. It can be many things.
Many things,
Yeah,
anything. Yeah.
many things. One time I came, I think from Umrah, and at the airport, I saw a guy, he was doing the customs. He knew me, Assalamu alaikum, brother Riyad. I don't even know who that was.
Mm-hmm.
And he let me go fast.
Mm-hmm.
So this is rizq. Knowing people, having connections,
Yeah.
is rizq.
Mm-hmm.
All these things is, of course, not only money.
Not only money.
Spiritual. Yeah, even being happy is rizq.
Yeah.
Some people have everything, but they're not happy.
They're not happy.
Allah did not give them that. So
Mm-hmm.
everything is rizq, happiness, time, free time
Mm-hmm.
is rizq.
Yeah.
Love is rizq. People to love you,
Yeah.
that is rizq. All that is rizq. And sometimes people focus always on the materialistic things.
Materialistic, yeah.
And we do not pay attention. Would you rather have $5,000 or be healthy, for example? So being healthy is a big risk. People take it for granted because you can't buy health with money. So the first advice, Luqman, don't do shirk.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, the advice is the reason why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is mentioning this here. Luqman, we said, is not a prophet. Why is Allah mentioning his advices to his son in the Quran, in the surah which is called Luqman? Allah named the surah after him, to teach the parents what to tell their children. In the same order. Number one, teach your children La ilaha illallah. That's number one. Number two, teach them the rights of parents. Number three, tell them who Allah is. Many parents do not do that. Many parents tell their children, you have to pray, you have to fast, you have to do this, you have to do that. So the children start developing this wrong connection with Allah. Allah is watching you. And we remember this when we were young. Even if I'm not looking, Allah is looking, which means don't make a mistake.
Mm-hmm.
So we grow up believing that Allah is just waiting for you to make a mistake to catch you. That is not the right way. Tell them Allah is watching, so in case you need help, He'll help you. Allah is watching. If you need a hand, Allah will give you a hand. He will get you out of trouble. Allah is watching, so He will give you your rizq, just like Luqman is telling his son. Most of us, we do not teach our children who Allah is. Luqman chose Latif and Khabir to teach his son. Allah knows the smallest of things and the greatest of things, and your rizq will come to you. So this is important because, as we said, everybody's worried about their rizq. All right, ayah number 17. What comes after aqeedah? La ilaha illallah. Parents, number 2. Know who Allah is. Latifun Khabir, number 3. Number 4, salah. Ya bunayya aqim as-salah. So we see how important salah is. Establish the prayer. And we talked about it multiple times. And we said the only thing which is mandatory, ritual, which can turn a Muslim into a non-Muslim is salah. If somebody does not give zakah, that's a sin. If somebody does not fast in Ramadan, that's a sin. If somebody does not do hajj, that's a sin. If somebody does not pray, he's not a Muslim anymore. So that's the only thing. Salah is a very important thing. So ya bunayya aqim as-salah, meaning establish the prayer, not pray. And we said in the Quran, it's not mentioned not even one time that you should pray.
So Brother Yad, you're saying if you don't do Hajj, it's a sin?
It's a sin, of course, if you can afford it.
Oh, I mean, that's what I'm asking. Yeah, if one cannot afford it, then it's okay, right?
Yeah. If you cannot afford it, then liman istata'a ilayhi sabila, whoever can do it, and they don't do it, then that's a sin. If you cannot afford it, and by the way, cannot afford it does not always mean money. Sometimes you have the money, but you don't have the health. Somebody's sick, they cannot do Hajj. So it's not only about money. All right. Ya bunayya aqim as-salah, my dear son. Again, every time he starts with Ya bunayya, my dear son. Establish the prayer. And establish the prayer does not mean pray. It means pray the best way you can. Establish the prayer, not only pray. Because many people pray, but not many people establish the prayer. So to pray correctly with khushu', and Brother Asim is the khabir, the expert in the khushu'. If you need notes, he can tell you. What else? To pray the correct way with the correct wudu, with all the arkan, and we talked about what is farad and wajib and sunnah in the salah. Okay. Ya bunayya aqim as-salam.
Quick question, Sheikh.
Yes.
I thought establish the prayer also means like being able to consistently pray. Like something you establish is like it becomes a habit versus, you sporadically pray here and there. Is that not correct?
No, you're right. That's part of establishing the prayer, is to keep it on time and consistent. Yes, you're right.
Okay,
So it's, not only the way you pray, but even praying every time is a part of establishing it, establishing the habit of the prayer.
Okay.
So that is correct, yes. But of course, explain what you said earlier. If people do not pray, they are no longer Muslim. That's a person who abandons it, as we mentioned, not the person who skips. The person who prays sometimes and skips sometimes, that's a sin. It's a big sin, not to be taken lightly, but they're not out of Islam. Okay, so أقم الصلاة وأمر بالمعروف وانهى عن المنكر. Command people to do ma'roof, to do good, and to stay away from bad. This is a very important ibadah, actually. It's a ritual, or like a ritual in terms of reward and importance. We have a problem at this time and age. I mind my own business, it's not my problem. I don't want to get involved. وَأْمُرُ الْمَعْرُوفَ وَانْهَى عَنِ الْمُنكَرِ. When you see something wrong is happening, you should try to correct it. And we know the hadith. Whoever sees something wrong, he should try to correct it with his hand. If he couldn't, with his tongue, he should speak. If he couldn't, with his heart, and this is the weakest of Iman. So this problem, this time and age, a lot of people have is, I mind my own business, it's not my problem. So this is a big problem because again, Amr bil Ma'ruf and Nahi anil Munkar. It is important. I remember a few weeks ago, I went to this restaurant, Muslim restaurant, the Biha stuff, yani. And you know, they have these TVs, they show the different types, the menu and this stuff. One of the TVs, for some reason, was on YouTube, and they had some songs, and some of these songs had bad pictures. So I told the lady who was working there, why you have this here? You are a Muslim, and you're representing Islam. Immediately she turned it off. So yani, sometimes all you have to do just to give a small, people sometimes don't pay attention or don't think that this is a big deal. Amr al-Ma'ruf and Nahi anil Munkar is important. You have to the best of your ability, and again with wisdom. You don't do it in a way that you get yourself in trouble too. Yani, you find the right way. Now, some people can be so rude, like, astaghfirullah, you're going to go straight to hellfire right after this. Some people overdo it. ادعو إلى ربك بالحكمة والموعظة الحسنة. Wisdom and the decent advice, good manners. So Amr al-Ma'ruf and Nahi anil Munkar is what made us the best ummah. كنتم خير أمة أخرجت للناس. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, you have been the best ummah brought forth to mankind as long as تأمرون بالمعروف وتنهون عن المنكر وتؤمنون بالله. As long as you do أمر المعروف and نهي عن المنكر, then you fulfill the condition to be the best nation. As soon as you abandon that, then you are no longer the best nation. So what makes us the best nation is when we correct people's mistakes, again, with decency, without, in a way, and we can make it worse. And I probably have mentioned this one time here at our masjid. One of those youngsters who play basketball, he came with the basketball uniform, the jersey and the shorts. And then one elder started yelling at him, Astaghfirullah, this is not right, and this and that, in front of everyone. So the guy never came back again. You have to correct it, but again, with wisdom. You take him to the side, this is the masjid, this is not the right way. Yani, not in front of everybody. Huh? Right. Do not, I mean, who are you working for? Shaitan? Or the guy never came back again. So it is important to do it, but to do it the right way. وَأَمْرُ بِالْمَعْرُوفِ وَانْهَى عَنِ الْمُنكَرِ. وَأَمْرُ الْمَعْرُوف means when you see someone who's not doing something he should be doing, this is أمر بالمعروف. You tell someone to do something he didn't do. Like, give you an example. Somebody entered the masjid and sat down. You can go tell him, it's sunnah to do tahiyyat al-masjid when you enter, instead of just sitting down right away. That's amr al-ma'ruf. Nahi an al-munkar, when you see somebody doing something wrong and you tell them not to do it. You see somebody smoking, for example, and you tell him this is, this is bad for you and this and that. This is nahi an al-munkar. وَاصْبِرْ عَلَى مَا أَصَابَكَ. This is very important. Be patient with what happens. Because after you do amr bil ma'ruf and nahi an al-munkar, you might get hurt. Wa alaykum salam. You might get in trouble. Some people might not like it. A lot of people might not like it. And sometimes, even though you try to avoid getting in trouble and you're being polite and everything, you still can get in trouble. And I said this before, again, happened to me personally. In this masjid, I entered the masjid, one elder was angry. He was really angry. So I went to him and I told him the hadith of the Prophet, La taghdab, don't be angry. Just that. He got more angry. He was about to beat me up. So alhamdulillah, I learned that day that you can't run away with the thawb. That is one thing, shurwal qamis is better than thawb. Thawb, you have to lift it up and then run. But shurwal qamis, you can run. So that's one advantage.
So when you have to do amr bil ma'ruf, you have to wear different clothes.
Yeah, make sure you're wearing the running clothes you have. Whatever running clothes you have, some tennis shoes makes you fast. You say it and you run before anything happens. I mean, some people don't want to be given advice. Even though you are being nice, you're being polite, you're doing amr al-ma'ruf and nahi an al-munkar the best way you can, and they still don't accept it.
Yeah.
Again, it happened to me in Brayer Creek Masjid. I went to one brother, I said, Taqillah. Taqillah is not an insult. Yeah, Taqillah is not an insult. When you say to somebody, Taqillah, means don't do something that might anger Allah. It's the companions used to say to one another, Taqillah, and they used to say, Jazakallahu khairan for the reminder. It's not an insult. So I said that, and he said to me, don't Taqillah me, brother. Yeah, that's a funny one. Do not Taqillah me, brother. Okay, what does that even mean? So, sometimes when you do amr bil ma'ruf and nahi an al-munkar, and it's not your fault, you have done the right way, and people get upset with you. And that's why he told him right after that, وَاصْبِرْ عَلَى مَا أَصَابَكَ. Be patient. You're going to get hurt. People will be upset with you. People don't like to be corrected, by the way. Even if you correct them the right way. Wa alaykum salam. People don't like to be, because whenever you give somebody advice, they think you are putting yourself on a higher level than they. And who you think you are to tell me what to do? Who you think you are to give me advice? So even if you're being polite and you talk to people with husna and you talk with people the right way, you're giving them advice. Many people do not accept that advice. And you might get hurt, sometimes verbally, sometimes even physically, when you try to correct people's behavior. And that's why Luqman says to his son, after وَأْمُرُ الْمَعْرُوفِ وَانْهَى عَنِ الْمُنْكَرِ وَاصْبِرْ عَلَى مَا أَصَابَكَ. Be patient with what happens to you. Expect to get hurt. Prophet Muhammad ﷺ is the greatest role model we have. He was trying by the will of Allah to take people from hellfire to Jannah. They hurt him, they called him names, they did everything you can imagine to hurt him. So he was doing amr al-ma'ruf and nahi an al-munkar. So whenever you do amr al-ma'ruf and nahi an al-munkar, most of the time people will not thank you, by the way, even though they should be. Umar al-Khattab radiyallahu anhu used to say, رحم الله امرأ أهدى إلي عيوبي. May Allah give mercy to he who gives me a gift. What is that gift? My shortcomings, my mistakes. If you don't tell me about my mistakes, and I might not know, I might face Allah with these mistakes. Is that better? Or somebody give me advice and I will correct myself because of his advice. So normally people should thank each other. Thank you for your advice. Jazakallah khair. At our time, who you think you are to tell me? Who told you that you are right? So people today are scared of giving advice because they will get hurt. And that's why, again, Luqman, after telling his son, Amr al-Ma'ruf wa Nahy al-Munkar, he said, وَاصْبِرْ عَلَى مَا أَصَابَكَ. Expect people to be upset with you. Be patient. Don't get angry.